member and a longtime St. Cloudian in local business. Steve with Rapid Response Pest Control. Steve, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for coming on to BNI. And I'll start this off by saying the one thing that stood out about you the most to me as the VP and having people come on board is, as soon as you were in the room, I got a text from you after you left and you said, okay, let's do this. I have a check ready, this, that, and the other. And immediately I was like, oh, I love the gumption. And I love that he's already ready to go and he's already committed. So first and foremost, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but introduce yourself. Tell us how long you've been doing what you're doing in pest control and how long you've been in St. Cloud. And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Stephen Richards. Company is Rapid Response Pest Management. Been in termite and pest control industry for going on 30 years now. Started with Sears Termite and Pest Control. Became regional manager with them, sales training and consulting with them as well, traveling all over the different Southeast stores. Moved through the ranks pretty quick. Sears decided to sell the company and gave us a nice severance package, so I moved into Osceola County at that time and decided to start my own business. Okay. Name of the first company was Residential and Resort Pest Management, because I was targeting residents and the resorts that were here. That went well. That was in 1999. We changed the name because we wanted to change the look and change logos and may have a different direction that we wanted to go in. And been in St. Cloud now Kissimmee St. Cloud now since 1989. Okay. So been around a long time, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen plenty of growth.
Lots of growth.
With that, because I'm still fairly new to real estate. Some people might say I'm not that new, but you said something that stood out to me, and I'm curious about the journey as you started in one company and then eventually made your own. Did you ever logically make the decision of, oh, I'm just going to stay in this field, or was it just something you found yourself getting better and better at, and then you were like, yeah, this just makes sense?
Ironically enough, I went from wearing $300 suits and doing big meetings and sales training all over the place. The minute I walked into, because I wanted to change careers and be home for the family, so less travel, kind of like when I walked into BNI, I knew immediately that I walked in and did their open house that that's the industry I wanted to be in for whatever weird reason. Bug
Right.
guys are weird. I felt that there was a lot of opportunity to make money and a lot of opportunity for a good career. That's why I chose Sears, because of the name and the reputation of the company. I really, really do enjoy what I do. It's problem solving. It's building relationships with my customers, who I've had many of them as long as 20 years now.
Right.
So it's an industry that I enjoy doing, and I plan on being in it for some time.
You said problem solving, which is essentially what I do in my job too. Do you find that, and it's kind of a rhetorical question, I think everyone in the BNI room would say the same thing, is do you find that it's not the job but the mindset in the job? Because not a lot of people would look at pest control or running a business as problem solving. So do you think that's given you the longevity you have?
Yeah, I think so too, and also customer service. I don't believe customer service is an action. I think it's a philosophy. And I think that philosophy carries through to my customers. It's doing the little things that, picking up the trash if there's something in the yard, moving a garbage can for somebody. A retired little old lady that wants her Christmas items put back up in the attic. Sure. It's the little things that we do that provide that customer service. And like I said, it's not just one action, it's a whole philosophy of what I do.
Yeah, I agree. There's a philosophy I live by, which is no job is beneath you.
That's correct.
And I had a manager when I worked at PetSmart who kind of did the same thing. I was the only person when I worked there who had two roles, and I was stalker, but I was also custodial, just because it was the only position that had more hours and nobody wanted it, so I took it. But my manager at the time would help me do the custodial and help me do the stalking, and he's running the whole store. He was a general manager, and I just seen that in him as well. It was like, that's what I love, is like, no job is beneath you. That's why I'm always at the BNI early, setting up tables.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, there are some times where I get annoyed that people don't show up early too, and I always have to do it, but it's something I ask for because I have really no issue doing it. It's I'm sure you can share this, is just like, you want to present that philosophy. You
Yes.
want to embody it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want customers to feel it, not just see
You
it.
said that you had the big sales job, you were going all over the state, this, that, and the other, and you've been in St. Cloud for quite a while. When and how did the mindset flip of like, I mean, I know it has to do a lot with family, correct? If you just want to start dealing locally, you're more comfortable there. And then how has that been? Because we've talked off camera a little bit about this. How has the growth of St. Cloud in working locally affected your business 10 years ago versus now?
Well, it's a lot easier to get around 10 years ago than
Yeah.
it is now. One of the reasons I'm cutting my circumference, so you might want to say, my radius of service is because of the traffic. And I feel that the growth potential now with the population growth, the explosion we're having,
Right.
is really unlimited if I do things right.
Yeah.
Branding, really getting that name out there, doing the parades, doing this, doing that, always have that ad out there. And to where people, to be honest with you, I want to be St. Cloud's premier pest control. Over and above. Now, I'm never going to be a Massey in any of those, and I don't care to be.
Sure.
I want to be the one that when Rants and Raves comes up, or this one comes up, or somebody, hey, where's a pest control company? Or they, one of the biggest things I get business from is my Google, because of my reviews and because of my rating for being in business for so long.
It's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. It's the best advertising I've got.
Right.
Yeah.
And was that, we talked about this a little bit off camera too, and that's kind of the reason you're trying to do the new wave, new generation of things, of being on camera
Yeah.
right now and getting out in front of people and everything like that.
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely, absolutely. And let's, I don't plan on getting out of this business. And one of the great things about this job, it's not laborious. It's not really hard on your body. I mean, I do have to still crawl under houses and go in a few attics,
Sure.
which is fine. But it's not a hard job. It's more figuring out what's going on. Why does this person have this problem? And going, bugs are bugs.
Right.
You think like a bug, you can take care of the bug. But there's those situations and things that come up that you go, okay, what is going on? Why does this keep happening?
Right.
Those are the things I like to do about it. Yeah.
So you mentioned something, and I let's talk about this. So you want to be kind of St. Cloud's go-to pest control
Yes.
company. You have obviously, we've discussed this too. You have great branding and things like that. So what is the plan? Like, let's say 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Let's manifest it and bring it to completion here. Where do you want to be?
I would like to have a couple technicians out there. I don't want a lot of trucks on the road, but a couple technicians to where I'm still out there with my customers. I'm still talking to them. I'm still face to face, but pull myself out of the field a little bit. And that way I can concentrate more on the growth and not just the service.
Sure.
But still be available should there be a hiccup or should there be something. Because I got customers that if they don't see me, then they don't. I want them to want Rapid Response Pest Management, not Steve Richards.
That makes sense. I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
Because I find that, in growing a business, because I'm like this too, you want to be very hands-on. And I'm like that with B&I. It's very hard for me to delegate because I've started it and I feel like it has to be done right.
Yep.
But I have to learn to do that.
We have to.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing in the world to do. For me, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I've-
it's very difficult for me.
So that's.
And then, so with that, you want to be more kind of figurehead. And you mentioned doing more community stuff and being out there and having the branding take on a life of its own, so
Exactly.
to speak, and having your mascot out there and things like that.
Yep.
That's a good segue into what are some of the community stuff you have coming up?
We're doing the St. Patty's Day Parade. We're going to be doing the 4th of July at Lakefront again. Again with the mascot. And we're probably going to get another 2 or 3 ant suits.
Cool.
And just have.
Oh, you're building a colony.
Yeah, pretty much. Well put. Again, it's that branding. It's that getting that so people see the van. Oh yeah, or they see the ant. They don't even have to know that it's. They don't have to ask anymore.
Right.
They know who that is.
You just have ants walking around downtown monthly markets.
One of the things I'm looking into. I don't know if I'm going to do it yet or not, but I'm really looking at it hard. Motorcycle box cars that the police used to use. For writing tickets and stuff, they had the big card on the back. Okay, it's a trunk. You open it up, and I want to make it a bug vehicle, and then have the helmet as an ant head.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, all Bluetooth inside. I can put all my pest control items inside that cart. unless it's a termite job or a big job, and drive around with that thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to turn heads. People are going to take pictures. Are going to, again,
Right.
branding. Yeah.
Like those lobster cars. You see the was
Exactly.
in Boston.
Boston lobster, yeah.
You have the lobster cars.
And Truly Nolan. I mean, Truly Nolan started with mouse ears on an Impala in the 60s. And now it's, you know, it's yellow VW bugs with a tail and ears.
Right.
Yeah.
And I hope we get the social media guy in the group because he's really good at what he does. But he's put little ideas in my head about just video marketing. He's like, you don't have to do anything. Is that the one guy that came in? Yeah.
The young kid?
Yes.
He's supposed to get with me.
Yeah. I'll text him because I invited him to Visitor Day and he said he'd absolutely show up. It's a little hard for him.
Well, didn't he come?
For our next Visitor Day.
Okay.
Yeah, on the 27th.
Yeah, because I called him up and said, hey, I need...
Yeah, he's already given me some decent ideas. Actually, I'm throwing together a video today because I have my presentation and all this other stuff. But just little things, crawling under houses, things like that. But off topic, I have a friend that's worked for Orkin, you know, back end doing paperwork for years, and he's very happy and makes good money. And like, I just never thought of that. You know, he asked me a couple years ago. He's like, "Do you need a job? Do you want a job?" Because I think I was delivering pizzas at the time, but I was also getting some licenses to do what I do now. So I was like, "No, I'm okay," you know. But he's always made out well, and he's done well.
I don't know what year it was, but Harvard did a study on the top 100 profitable businesses in the nation. Pest control was in the top 10 as a profitable industry.
That's
which is pretty strong.
They ain't going away, right? You have job security,
going away.
Right?
Little off topic, a little bit, telling a little of the industry secrets, but chemical costs are 12%. Equipment is cheap. It's not like a lawn care company.
Right.
Now I stay out of lawn maintenance and lawn treatment because that gets expensive.
Okay.
The equipment gets expensive, and I don't. People are too funny with their lawns.
Okay.
So I stay out of that part of the industry. But you don't have to. Again, back to the customer service. Just do your job.
Right. Yeah.
You know, show up on time.
Goes a long way.
You know, I used to get my technicians. I used to drill it in their head. If you're going to be late, okay, your appointment's at 12 o'clock. Don't call them at 12:10. Say I'm running late. Yeah,
right.
We already know.
Yeah.
You call them 20 minutes ahead and let them know. They don't mind that then. Just those little things.
Right. And I heard that something very similar. If someone was talking about boardroom meetings, is just like people, they used to be in the middle of a meeting and someone would walk in late, and then every single time they'd give the excuse why they were late.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't care.
No.
We know you're late.
When I was
just sit down.
When I was manager of stores as a district manager, started out district before I made regional, my job was I'd have 3 stores I'd get in charge of. Okay. My number one rule is every technician's in there for the morning meeting. Morning meeting's at 7 a.m. Doors locked at 7:02. You wait outside until the meetings are over, and then you come in and we'll sit privately and
discuss.
Yeah. Why are you late? Well, traffic or whatever, But you don't let walk into a middle of a board meeting, walk into the middle of a meeting 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late. You just disrupted everything.
Yeah.
And
everybody noticed.
Yeah.
And again, you're embodying something. You're speaking for yourself.
Yeah.
At all times.
And it's like I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. The last meeting she did that little thing about how to win friends and influence people.
Jenny.
Yeah, and she did a great job on doing the little trick where they started talking and stuff because we all see it. Somebody's trying to talk, somebody's trying to say something to somebody over here, somebody's over there, and it throws them off track, and it's not fair.
Right.
You got to give them their 3 minutes.
Yes, it's a big respect thing.
It's huge.
Yeah. It's like just pay the respect. You're not going to like it if someone's doing it to you.
Exactly.
Either you're going to notice or you're going to think, oh, am I doing something wrong? Like I don't have their attention, things like that.
Or you stop and you got this great thought process going, and then you got to wait till they stop, and then you've gotten off path. That was smart. It was a good thing that she did.
Yeah, BNI taught me and helped me so much with that is because, like me being younger, and I see this amongst a lot of the younger business owners in there is, you have wisdom and people that have been in business for such a long time around you. That was one of the things I loved about starting it is like, I wanted to have a good mix of wisdom and, enthusiasm in people that were hungry. And I love the fact that I got people in there that had been in BNI a while and could teach me and can mentor me. Because another philosophy I have is you always need a mentor and you always need a mentee. That way you're learning, but you're also teaching at the same time.
The oldest saying in the world is real simple. If you're green, you grow. If you're ripe, you rot. You always can learn. You're never too good to learn. And that's why when you have a group of people like this, whether they're just starting out or it's somebody that's got experience, there's always something somebody's going to say at some point, and you're going to be able to go, I picked that up.
Resonates.
I learned that.
Yeah, it resonates.
Yeah. And that's what I love about a group like that.
Yeah, and it's taught me so much. Like, one of the last cross-chapter events we did, Wanda and I go to those all the time, and we play off each other very well because I'm very introverted in my thoughts, always thinking. That's why I'm good with numbers. That's why I'm good with focus and doing my thing. She's outgoing, so I'm like, she'll bring people to me and be like, "Have you met this person?" And I just love that dynamic because I'm like, I don't want to go out and meet people, but it's pushed me into that uncomfort zone where I have to do that.
There's nothing better than coming out of your comfort
making
zone.
Connections. Yeah.
Yep. I fully agree with that. The biggest growth thing we can do is come out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
So you've been in St. Cloud a while, so let's speak about your first impressions in BNI because you're brand new, and then talk about what I always ask people when they come on is like, what are your favorite things to do locally? What are your favorite spots? Things like that. So let's start with BNI and then let's transition to more of you, not as a business, but you as a person.
Well, again, BNI interested me because the group seemed sound. And it helped that I knew a few people in there too.
Yeah,
It made me feel very comfortable.
Very recommended, by the way. Yes.
So I felt very comfortable coming into the group. And it just happened to fall into my lap at the same time that I'm doing my revamp, that I'm trying to redirect everything. And everybody just made it feel very comfortable, I love the organization. Yes, it's a commitment. I also like that because I can get flighty. Structure's not bad for me.
Right.
It's not bad for any of us, actually. So the structure is actually a good thing for me. It makes me be more detailed and orientated, and then also makes me think about, okay, what am I going to bring to the next meeting?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of growth in just that. A lot of our younger members terrified of getting up and speaking.
Yeah,
and
they
you can
are.
see it. You can still see it in some that you don't see it in already, like you should have seen them when they first started. There's been so much growth in the room already of people that seemed like they wanted to pass out. And now they get up and talk and they're super on point and super good. Like they own their 60 seconds, they own their presentations, and you can see the growth in that. And just to touch on for a little bit, when I first launched the chapter, I had a gentleman reach out to me from Massachusetts who was still in a chapter he was essentially trying to revamp, and he had only 12 members in his chapter because he's been operational for like 10 years. And I asked him, I was like, let me ask you a question. He's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay, I just launched a chapter. Let me ask you this. Of the people in there, who are the younger members? And he's like, well, we only have about 3 around my age and they're new in business. And I was like, so the other like 9 are all there, tried and true, been in BNI forever? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's your problem. You need to touch on what we spoke about earlier. You need the younger people in that room because these folks are sedentary at this point. They've achieved what they want to achieve. They've accomplished what they want to accomplish. They're comfortable in their business. They're not wanting to grow anymore. They just want to get together, get their standard done for their business, and that's it. And he was like, that's a very good point. I never really thought about it that way. I was like, yeah, to speak what we spoke on earlier, I wanted young people in the room because I wanted people who were hungry, and I wanted people that just want to grow their business because I feel like that that dynamic at play with the older people wanting, being able to teach and the youngers wanting to learn, I felt like that was great for a new chapter.
Like I said, the minute you don't think you can learn anymore, is when you stop growing completely. Yeah. And the other thing about BNI
or you're dying.
Is, you've got a group of people that as a business owner we can do it all, but we can't do it all by ourselves.
Right.
We need knowledge. We need help in areas that we don't know. I always like to share the story about Henry Ford. When Ford first came out with the automatic transmission, okay, big to do, and they did an interview, press conference, and they asked him specifically, how does the automatic transmission work? I don't have a clue. Ask my transmission guys.
Right.
We're the same thing.
Yeah.
There's things that we think that we know, but when we start learning from the other members, then all of a sudden, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I can incorporate that. I can incorporate this.
Yeah.
And that's the learning part.
So, jumping from from business to a little more personal, St. Cloud. What are some of the things you love about St. Cloud? What are some places you like to go? Where are some places you frequent? Talk to us.
I mean, St. Cloud, obviously, the small town feel has always been there. It's
Thankfully,
always,
it's still there, even with the growth.
Yeah, it is, because we're part of the before.
Right.
So we still have that network. Entertainment-wise, when Brian had Brews and Blues, we used to love to go there because of the music. We'll go to some of the restaurants. Anything that opens new, we're always trying to check it out and do that. As far as being in St. Cloud, I think I shared this with you before. I've been in martial arts for 25 years.
Yes.
Even a little bit longer. St. Cloud Fight Club Kung Fu School, and starting to teach again with that. That's my passion, and I love it. Even at 62 years old, I'm still in there in the ring and playing. And that's also something that keeps me well grounded.
Yeah.
I love to ride my motorcycle, travel, love the lake. I mean, it's just so much to do here, and so much growth that's happening. I mean, you got the river now, or the lakefront with the riverboat, and all of that going on. So just a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah, and there's a lot more coming to the lakefront as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's going to catch up to us for sure. When I've talked about this being in real estate, is in Windermere you got $2 million plots of land around the lake that used to all be fish camps.
Yep.
So St. Cloud's in the same boat.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, new money's coming in, old money, if they want to get out, will get out, or they'll grow there. Something I wanted to just pick your brain on was, well, one, the martial arts we'll probably talk about. We'll probably never have enough to talk about there. But I wanted to get some, because you mentioned bugs to most people, and you get like this, fear, huge fear. So give me some just a couple stories that jump to your mind of like maybe a job that seemed like it was going to be a big deal that wasn't really, or some of your favorite stories and favorite problems you've solved, things like that.
The biggest thing, great story. Got a phone call that there was a snake in the upstairs bathroom.
Okay.
Very weird call. Brand new vacation home. These people are Brits. They're freaking out. Okay. All right. So I get up there. They got towels stuffed under the door in this bathroom where it's at. I can't find it. I'm in there. I reach up, and this rat snake had gotten up into the tracking. All right. Now these people are peeking through the door, but standing back, but they're peeking. They want to see. It's kind of like a train wreck. They don't want to look, but they want to look. So the snake bit me.
Here's a funny thing.
As soon as the snake bit me, I jumped a little bit. They screamed and ran out of the room. So I grabbed the snake, pulled him down, and they're running out of the house as I'm walking through with this snake. And you're going to kill it? And I went, no, I'm going to go let it go out here in the lake. So that was a pretty funny story. The other is bed bugs. Okay. Anytime I'm inspecting for bed bugs, I got people around me like this.
Some like placebo weirdness.
Yeah. They're itching. They're itching. I'm all up in this.
Right.
It doesn't bother me. But yeah, bed bugs really creep people out a lot, and it is a big problem. But they just freak. They get heebie-jeebies. And then of course our beloved palmetto bug.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to touch on that, just for people that are new to the area. As soon as they see one, they're just like, nope, we're moving back to Jersey.
The roach is an inch long
done.
and it flies past their head like a small jet, and they're just... And it's mostly most people from the north. They move down here and see that thing, and I'm getting a phone call. Right. New York wives are the best business I ever had.
That's pretty good.
The other things I get a lot of business from, or I love the husbands that we don't need a bug guy. I got this.
Okay.
6 weeks later, they're going, my wife says I have to call you. Can't get rid of the problem. So
I wish my industry was like that. I'm going to sell my house my own. You know what? My spouse says I really need to call you. I wish it was that easy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, when problems, I think I alluded to this before. When I have a problem that is consistently coming back, there's other issues than just the insect.
Right.
Okay. Palmettos are a great example. If you have, and they're an American roach is what they're called. So when they come in and you're seeing them 3 or 4 at night, and you're seeing them all the time in there, you have an issue somewhere in your house. There's a moisture issue. I'll give you a great example. Lorraine Duflo in Kissimmee, she went on for years. I fumigated the attic and I sprayed everything. I said, Lorraine, something is wrong here. They did a remodel in their kitchen. There was an addition to it and a block wall. They had a small pinhole leak that was filling the block, and the blocks were full of water and had been that way for years. And when they opened that wall, those bugs came running out. As soon as we cleared up the water, as soon as she got all that done, never had a call from her again. So it's either a mechanical issue. If you can't get them chemically, then it's a mechanical issue.
Right.
Tree branches, bushes too close to the house, too much mulch, or moisture conditions. Moisture is your biggest threat or biggest problem with insects.
Yeah, and thanks to you, I learned that. Like, I knew from tree trimming companies about that for houses, but now that I've talked to you, I'm just like, okay. And now I'm riding that fine line when I go view a house, because it has trees around it, and I'm like, if they love it, don't say anything. Don't say anything. But at the same time, I'm like, they should be aware. Like, they need to know this.
After the closing.
Yeah. I'm like, they need to know this. And that's a good point. At that point is this like, hey, I know a guy if you have this problem, right? So, and that was...
Or even, just gave me an idea. Just a page of, Florida's bugs and tips to keep your house bug free.
Yeah, yeah, and that could be easily handed in a pamphlet at closing. Yeah,
trim your trees, caulk your windows.
Right. All those things that they need to know, and
they're little things that people don't think about.
Or some things like that. How long have you been doing that? You said you're just getting back into teaching. How has that journey been? Do you ever find yourself kind of putting that down if you can help it? It doesn't seem like it. So
it's funny you said that, 'cause I was going through my Navy records. The first time I ever stepped into the ring was in 1980. I was 18 years old, and I found my first physical. And so that's been that journey. A little bit about me, I was an angry young man all the time, fought at the drop of a hat, always did. I met my master, Seafood, 27 years ago, and fell in, again, when I find something, I know it's the right thing.
Right.
I was introduced to him through a bunch of my friends. As soon as I met him, I said, I want in, because it was invitation only, and 12 students. And it's not watered down. He's 3 down from Thailand. So the training is real. And I fell in love with it instantly. And I became a star student. I was in there 7 days a week and trained and trained and trained. I earned the right to be able to compete in the United States Open. I won it in 2007, and then I won it in 2008. It's the world's largest amateur martial arts stage. And I was given that opportunity. Not given, I earned it.
Right.
During that journey, I also started to teach.
Right.
2 years ago, I was given the title of Seafood, which is teacher, sensei, same thing, or doshu. My master has gotten to the age where he can't get in the ring anymore. So now I'm the students.
Yeah.
I'm the one that used to go after him.
Right.
Now they're wanting to come after me.
Yeah.
So the school closed for a little bit because I had gotten sideways and life got in the way and I couldn't teach like I wanted to, and he was getting frustrated, so closed it. Just got the text this week. He says, we got 6 students now, starting Saturday morning, 7 o'clock. Bring your gear, get back here.
Cool.
Well, you don't tell your master no.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a request.
Right.
So Saturday I'll start back to training again and teaching the students. But it's not just about the fighting. It's not just about learning martial arts. It's about learning so many different things. I mean, when I was an angry young man, I used to own the Fox and Hounds.
It's a good stick song.
When people would get out of line, my patience was so incredible. You don't get the adrenaline rush. You don't get angry. You don't get mad. You learn to handle a situation. When Bruce Lee used to say, it's the art of fighting without fighting, it's such a true statement.
Right.
Words don't bother you. They can call you names and get up, and it doesn't bother you. You learn a patience and you learn an understanding. And the last thing that Sifu used to teach us was, one thing you have to ask yourself when they get to that point: do they really deserve what they're about to get?
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
There's that, and that's the thing is so 2 things. One with that statement, which is you know, it's almost always like the guy that's emotional and like ready to fight and meets the person that's extremely calm. It's the person that's extremely calm that you really need to worry
Yeah,
about.
absolutely.
You know, completely 100%. For one reason or another.
Yep.
Like he's got some demons that he's
Yep.
subdued at
No
that
threat,
point.
no response.
Yeah. So, but with that, I'll touch on that, and it's the same reason I go to real estate events, but it's the same reason I love going to jiu-jitsu. And we've discussed this privately, is like, I didn't start it because I was looking for a problem. I started it because I needed to know how to defend myself in case anything ever happened, with my medical issues. So, but what I learned in my journey of going there every week and learning more and more and more is two things. I love that jiu-jitsu is like a chess match. So it's actually almost more about your mental capacity than your physical capacity, which I love because as a kid who couldn't do physical sports, I had to learn to do things mentally, you know. And secondly is I love that every time I walk into that gym, it's a humbling experience. Like
Absolutely.
I knew walking in, like these 6-year-olds can probably kick my ass, right? And it's probably the same thing in any gym you go to that trains a martial art. I love humbling experiences. Walking into big real estate expos where, you know, you have your big shot realtors who are like, well, I'm the best in my town. I close 20 deals, 30 deals, but they've never walked into a room where you're in front of someone on stage who's closed $1 billion in volume.
Right.
Because then you're sitting there like, I don't know shit. You know, like I love those humbling experiences because it keeps you in check at all times. It's like, hey, doesn't matter. Like, and I've mentioned this to you earlier, it's just like, life is going to kick your ass regardless. So just,
You know what's funny is, in regards to B&I, in regards to business, we sit down and we train, and we learn, and we train, and we're taking all this information in, and you wonder why sometimes when you're in the gym and your teacher makes you do these drills over and over and over and over and over again, you just, why am I doing this?
right.
And then all of a sudden you apply it.
Yep. Yeah.
And the same thing in business. You go through these, you read the books and you do the things and we do the things that we're doing. And then all of a sudden you start to apply it and it works.
Right. Right.
You know, that's the
And
greatest feeling.
it's part of
there
showing
is.
up too.
Well,
it's like,
it's all about that.
Yeah, it's all about, because
You have to show
the
up.
new agents here is like, I tell them all the time, just show up, because you don't feel like you're doing anything, right? You really don't. But one day, like you just said, you'll get to apply it, and then you'll realize, oh, if I would have never shown up that day,
Oh my God,
I
yeah.
wouldn't know this.
Positive activity breeds positive activity, and so does positive action. And like you said, whether you show up here and there's nothing going on, you're here.
Right.
That one phone call might come in.
Yep.
That one walk-in might come in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, bam, you just hit the jackpot on something because you were here.
Yeah.
Same thing with life and what we do.
Absolutely. Dang, there was a quote that just came into my mind, and then I had it, and then I lost it, which was, you know, talking about the humbling experience and everything like that. And I wish I could remember it now, but
You will afterwards.
oh, I will. I'll probably use
You'll
it in
call me
B&I.
up or see you at the
I'll
meeting.
I'll probably use it in B&I today. But thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, don't mind.
And you're always a good conversation, and I love learning from you because you've done so much. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.